I am a business owner, and I'm a mom and a grandma. And those little people mean so much to me that I am willing to sacrifice time and energy out of my life and my time with them to take on this responsibility. And I don't do it because I'm all that in a bag of chips. I do it because I believe that I've been called to this work. Mm-hmm. God loves me. He made me. He needs me to do this right now. And so I'm doing it. There's no other explanation to me for why I find myself in this role. Mm-hmm. And I believe that strongly.
Welcome to the Salem Business Journal Podcast. With me, I have our mayor, Julie Hoy.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here with
and this is Gruff.
This is Gruff.
He is a dog.
Gruff has beautiful hair.
Gruff, do you have beautiful hair? I didn't do that. Edit that out. All right. Well, first, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Thank you to Hotel Salem and Compass Visuals for sponsoring this podcast. Really appreciate you guys. You make this all possible. So thank you. Well, Julie.
Yes.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks. Just trying to keep this unicorn away from the dog.
Oh, I know. He's a menace. Do you know the story about this unicorn?
I do not, and I would love to hear it.
Okay, Julie. It's actually the coolest story. So he sells these as a way to raise up money to help foster kids or kids who just can't afford it, like kids that are homeless or whatever, be able to get braces.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And so it's actually a really cool thing. Mm-hmm. And the symbol is actually
pretty cute.
It's pretty cute.
Hard to keep away from the dog, though.
Oh, God. He loves it. Look at him. All right, Julie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jesse. It's nice to be here.
So obviously you're the mayor of Salem. But what I would like to talk about first is, who is Julie Hoy? Yeah. No, you can't. Gruff?
I'll protect the unicorn.
Okay, thank you. Protecting the unicorn and protecting our city.
That's right. At all costs.
Oh, goodness. Well, Julie, so I want to get to know you first. Like, who is Julie Hoy, the human? So you and your husband have owned Geppetto's. That's the Italian restaurant in Lancaster. Mm-hmm. How long have you guys owned that?
We've owned it. It'll be 9 years, June 1st this year. Yep.
That's coming up.
Yep.
Coming up quick.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Buying a restaurant?
Yeah, buying a restaurant, like your first time.
Oh, well, neither one of us had ever owned a restaurant. So it was all new. Everything was new. And Geppetto's is special in that they have always had their own recipes, Mm-hmm. And we needed to learn how to do all of that, which was another big deal. Yeah, it was. Not everybody knows this, but we took out our retirement savings to buy that restaurant.
Wow, that's a big risk.
Yeah, I made the mistake of asking for a miracle for my husband and promised God I'd do anything to help. Next thing you know, we owned a restaurant.
That's wild. Well, because what would have happened had it failed?
Had it failed?
Yeah.
Oh, bankruptcy. Big, for sure.
Yeah.
Who knows? We faced a lot of adversity there. We bought in June of 17. Summer of 18 was the water crisis, the algae bloom. And 8 weeks, I was going every morning to the National Guard station to get water so we didn't have to close.
Okay. What year was that?
That was 2018.
I remember that. I was on the school board at the time.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Algae bloom. 2019, March, we had an arson fire in the business next door, shut us down indefinitely. We thought
Which business was that?
That was Mattress World, next door to the restaurant.
That was arson?
Yeah. It was a homeless person lit a mattress on fire in the alley.
As you do.
And it went up the wall, caught the ceiling on fire, and our place filled with smoke and soot. The fire department thought the fire was coming from our space, so they broke our door down, and we really thought, no pun intended, but we thought we were toast.
The unicorn is safe.
The unicorn is safe.
Okay, so tell me more about the fire.
About the fire. It was a homeless person lit a mattress on fire in the alleyway, shot up the outside wall, went across the roof of the Mattress World store next door, and filled us up with smoke and soot and shut us down.
Sheesh.
Everything died. So that was kind of a big deal. So it was the algae bloom of 18, the arson fire of 19, which by the grace of God and the help of a dear cousin helped drive a fire claim. We opened with a facelift, which Geppetto's needed.
Yeah.
We needed a paint job and new carpet and all that. So
It looks nice. I'd never been in
Thank
there
you.
before until just recently. And
yeah,
the food was good. Service was great.
we had been customers for 25 years before we bought it. And even back to the time when there was still a smoking section.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the bar, the smoking section, and the non-smoking section. It's kind of crazy.
That's a crazy thing.
Anyway,
That's how you know it's been around a long time.
Isn't it? Yeah. And the remnants of the tricolor shag carpet that they started out with in 1974. It was a thing then. Anyhow, that was, March of 19 was the fire.
Yeah.
March of 20 was obviously almost to the day was the COVID shutdown.
Mm.
And that was 2 years of a nightmare, a roller coaster of,
I bet.
I mean, you can do this, you can't do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Plexiglass was in short supply. And the first thing they allowed you to open was lottery, right? But you had to separate your machines by 6 feet. And you had to, and you couldn't feed or give anybody anything to drink.
I love how much sense a lot of these COVID rules make.
Right? Yeah. So people could come in and gamble, but you couldn't give them anything to eat or drink. And
or
anyway,
like a lot of the local shops were shut down, but you went to like Costco or Walmart and it was like sardines. Like it was crazy.
So crazy. And we were open the whole time and running delivery. We enhanced our delivery service to include all of Kaiser and Salem. And that was good. People wanted to eat, and they didn't necessarily want to just eat what they had in their house.
Is your delivery service still pretty strong?
Yep, it is. And we don't outsource. We have our own delivery vehicles, and
wow,
yeah, we had a third party company show up once and put a pizza in a bag sideways, like on its.
Oh no.
I caught him before he went out the door, but I was like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We need to know who's delivering the food and making sure that our product shows up with the most integrity.
Yeah. That's a crazy story.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Let's see. That was March.
I could never work those jobs because I'd get fired. I'd be like eating the fries, snagging a bite of the burger.
It happens.
Yeah. It happens to the best of us. Like,
it does. Yeah. The restaurant business is strange, Jesse. It's really hard. And Randy, the banker at Pioneer Trust, told Roger and I that in 2017 that he never recommends people go into the restaurant business because it's really hard, and especially people he cares about.
Yeah.
He said, but Geppetto's being what it is in the community and you and Roger being who you are, I think you're going to be really good at this. So we did it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a crazy business.
Do you guys live over there?
Yeah, we do. Northeast. Yep. We have in the same house for 35 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean, you get you saved up and, ended up buying a local restaurant, live in the town, live in the same home.
Yeah. Every time we thought to change it, like we bought the house with the intention of flipping it in a year. Okay. So then our kids were no longer going to school in South Salem. They were going to go to the Blanchette out northeast. And it's like, why would we move? It's a half a mile from the house. Then, when they graduate high school, we'll move. Then our daughter chose Shemekiah for nursing school, and she lived at home. Then we thought, okay, when she graduates nursing school, we'll sell the house. Then we bought Geppetto's. And why move? It's a half a mile from the house.
It's right here.
There's been every reason not to move. And that, that led to my involvement with the Chamber of Commerce, which led to exposure to the policy update guy, and then you start to think, this is how stuff happens and it impacts my business. And then it was the Cisco rep coming on a Monday to pick up a check and saying that he had heard my name bouncing around at a party and wondered if I would ever consider running for city council.
What year was this?
That was 2000. That must have been 21.
21?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I said, David, I am not hearing a no. So what do we do next? And that led
Yeah.
to another conversation with a young man.
And what was the driver behind that? Like what?
Behind him?
No, behind you not saying no. Like what was the driver behind you agreeing to that?
Well, many people know I'm a person of deep faith.
Mhm.
And when I am presented with a question or an issue, the first thing I do is ask for help. And that ask is of the God who loves me and made me and called me to be on this earth at this time. And I only want to do what God needs me to do, and no more and no less. And that's how I roll.
Wow.
So-
You know what? I really respect that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a wild ride. I never dreamed I would run for any kind of an office.
Yeah.
Ever. And next thing you know, I was on city council and realized pretty quickly that there was a problem and that the God who knows me and loves me and made me might need me to do more than.
What was the problem? Like what were the
Well,
problems that you saw?
The first problem I saw, it might have been my very first meeting I was at. I heard talk of the imposition of a payroll tax. And I thought, what? I raised my hand and I asked, can you do that? Can city council impose a payroll tax? Absolutely. Yes, we can do that. Okay. Should you do that? I mean, shouldn't you take a tax to the people?
Yeah.
And the response I got from the mayor at the time was, we're not going to take it to the people because we know they won't pass it.
And now we have unelected bodies putting all these taxes on us.
Mm-hmm.
And how they got the power, right?
Yeah.
Was people just not paying attention or like not realizing what they were voting on or what was happening. And then, now you have them years down the road, passing these taxes on like in weird makeshift ways, knowing exactly what they're doing.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not either. And that payroll tax would have impacted anyone who worked in Salem. So
But listen, like if that got brought to the people and the people voted it in, right? I can respect that.
Yep.
Because that's the way it's supposed to be done. That was the intention.
Yep. That's the process we're supposed to follow.
Yeah. And I think that, if that's how it was done, I think it would have been received very differently. But.
Oh, I do too. The perfect example of that is the levy that was passed in last May. The people got to speak. They got to choose. And it meant collaboration and cooperation between the library, Center 50 Plus, and parks.
Yeah.
And police and fire and the city. We were all driving toward the same goal. And against all odds, it passed by a vote of the people.
Yeah.
They decided what they wanted to invest in.
What's crazy about that, Julie, is that after they, passed the payroll tax and then
the voters got mad.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well,
they needed like 4,000 signatures, and I think they ended up with 14,000 signatures to force it to the ballot.
Yeah. Well, what do you, I want to hear your take as a city councilor who just stepped up, who was peacefully running her own business and then decided to step up and, serve the community. And then they try to pass this payroll tax. I want to hear your perspective of, what was happening and then also what you did in response to it.
Well, after that initial conversation in that meeting, which was, I think it was a council retreat, I was pretty astonished and knew that I would never vote for the imposition of a tax.
Mm-hmm.
Just inherently, that's just the wrong thing to do. And at the time, they justified it because of a forecast issue, in our budget, that we were going to face this deficit. And at the time, I think it was like $9 million or something. I'm like, oh, wow. Well, I'm thinking inside myself, I need to learn about this $9 million. Why are we short? What do we cut? Just thinking about it like a household or a business budget. It didn't make sense to me. That number then just began to go all over the place. And it was 13, then it was 17, then it was 19. By the time they imposed the tax, it was $23 million, the deficit we were going to face in 2026. I still didn't see the justification for that. And I didn't go it alone, Jesse. I think it's important to mention that I have really smart people in my life who know more about budgets than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing. I don't have to know everything about everything there is.
Mm-hmm.
My sweet girlfriend who first looked at the City of Salem budget book, which is about that thick, found $1 million error.
What?
So, yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't. I just remember it was $1 million. And
What?
she saw it and pointed it out to me. So I go to the city and say, hey, Paige, whatever, there's $1 million error here. And, oh, thank you. We got to fix that. It was the proposed budget, but it was there and it got fixed. Meanwhile, I'm learning a lot. I was learning a lot from folks at Aldridge Wealth Advisors and CPAs about forecasting and how contingencies work and how they should work and what's reasonable when it comes to a contingency. And it painted a very different picture to hear them speak about Salem's budget and what might be done. So I worked very hard to fight for, first of all, I fought for quarterly budget reporting rather than that giant book coming at the budget committee once a year. And then you've got a pretty short amount of time to get it figured out and pass the budget, right? So quarterly reporting was really important. Also a forecast review is what I wanted. And it wasn't until I was elected mayor that the forecast review became a reality.
Wow.
And that was a citizen-led group that took a look at those things that I had heard so much about in the year prior. And
so the forecast review is essentially looking at, okay, where are we financially right now? We're in the past. And then where are we going in the future? Is that
right.
what it is?
How much money do we have? How much is going to come in?
That wasn't already a thing?
It was a thing, but it had a very different perspective.
What's the difference in the perspective that it had versus what it has now?
Well, previously, there was a lot of fear set into those numbers.
What does that mean?
That to me means that when people are afraid, they say yes to things, right? Like more money. We need more money. If we don't get this money, we're going to lose this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
Well, we had to pass that budget last year that didn't look good. And it had all the cuts that we would need to make without cutting public safety, because that's our number one responsibility as a governing body, is that people feel safe. There's police, there's fire, there's a call center. If they need something, they receive the help.
Yeah.
Right? Had to pass a really ugly budget. The forecast review team gathers, makes some adjustments, changes some numbers down the road, less contingency, all those things. And we came out at we dropped about $6 million in the deficit just with that process alone.
Wait, hold up. So this is after you became mayor, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you became mayor this last January.
Yes.
So it's been just about a year.
I was sworn in January 13th of 2025.
And when did you guys implement this forecast review?
Forecast review, gosh, I'd be scraping to remember the exact date,
fair,
but it was after I was sworn in. And
was it somewhat near, like around
February?
Okay, February-ish.
Ish.
Give or take a month.
Yep. And those folks who just know a lot about budgets were able to look at things and create a brighter picture for Salem over the next 5 years.
We were $23 million.
Expected to be $23 million deficit in 2026.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
And that's why they were trying to pass a payroll tax without a vote of the people.
Right. That's the fear I'm talking
Yes,
about.
and then people got upset about that. Like, no. And
you can't do that.
Yes.
Yep.
You
and pushed it to the ballot.
Down, elected a new mayor.
Yep.
And then a couple months in, you were able to save $6 million kind of right
just
off the
forecasting.
Bat, just by forecasting.
Yep. Then the Efficiencies group, citizen-led, came in and did their thing. They whittled things down and got us down from 23.17 to 13.8.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had to pass the really ugly budget that had all the cuts in it. And at the same time, begin to set up the run for the levy to be on the ballot in May. And that took a tremendous amount of coordination and negotiation on the part of the new city manager that just, it was brilliant. And
when did she get hired on?
She got, hired on. She was already hired on because she's been with the city for 26 years. when the former city manager left, she became
Yeah.
interim.
I see. And then she just stayed.
She stayed. And then we voted on council to make her position permanent.
Yeah.
She accepted that.
It seems like I think I could speak on behalf of like most people in the city that was a good move, because I mean, I don't know our new city manager very well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can just see by her works and by, your guys' leadership of putting her in the spot that our city's better off with her.
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
And because like, it's not like drastic changes were made,
No,
but we're in so much of a better spot just because of that one decision.
We're in good hands with her leadership. And
so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Go back to where you were, but
no, I'm glad you brought it up, because her work, not only her work and her vision for the city, but her ability to work with people, to bring people together. Like the levy passage, for instance, I don't think that would have happened if she had not been the one communicating with the police union and the fire union and all the entities that it took to come alongside that effort to get it done. And she doesn't go it alone. She'd probably turn inside out if she heard me saying this many nice things about her.
She does seem very humble.
She's very humble.
Yeah.
And
just by kind of watching her, I've kind of seen like the way she acts and treats people.
Yep.
And, I'd love to have her on the podcast sometime, actually.
You should.
Because she's, you could tell like she's a smart cookie. And
she is a force.
Yeah. And I think that's leadership.
Absolutely. Right? Way different mode of operation.
Yeah.
Way different. And I don't want to go into all of that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It was what it was. And we have moved on.
Yep.
And we've moved on in a positive direction under her leadership. And her leadership staff at the city, frankly, not just her, but others as well who know her. She's been with the city for 26 years, right? Yeah. So that's a lot of relationship building. They trust her. And now she's driving the bus. Mm-hmm. And everybody's on board because they respect her.
Yeah. And
it's amazing what you can get done when people have joy in their work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw that change, and it's really wonderful. And council actually does great work when we do city work. Mm-hmm. When we go outside city work, it's like, what the heck?
Well, one thing that I really noted, I wanted to say this to you and to most of our council, I saw in one of the last meetings that you guys had. After you guys voted to remove the murderer guy from the police review board, I saw you guys interact with each other in a way that is so healthy for a community to do. Because there was some shots fired from different people, and I think for everybody to own their to be accountable to themselves and to each other and own their stuff and apologize to each other. Mm-hmm. That was really cool to see. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to say that. So any city councilors listening, I think that's something that's a really respectable moment for all of us to see. That's leadership.
Thanks for pointing that out, Jesse. Yeah. I agree. This council is made up of some really wonderful people.
Yeah, I would agree.
Who aren't, they're in it because they care at some level about what's going on in our city and for the people that live in it. And watching that, those more political issues, which, man, when we do city business, we're really good at it. And we're pretty much unified. When we get into these other topics that are entrenched in politics and partisanship and all those things, that's when it gets messy. We're off the rails. We're supposed to be doing the basics.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
These seats are nonpartisan for a reason. Yeah, like, some people don't know that. Like, there's no R, no D, no nothing.
It's just like school board. I mean, school board is supposed to be nonpartisan, but that was the most partisan thing I've ever been a part of, and I hated it so much. I have zero desire to ever be in an office like that again. Yeah. But like, obviously I was in it because I care about kids. I wanted kids who grew up like me, to have a shot at life.
Yeah.
And that's why it was important. And so that's why, like, I have a lot of respect for each of you who serve on council. For you, for Nordyke, for Deanna Gwynn, for
Mhm.
Shane Matthews, for
Mhm.
Counselor Vang, everybody on there. But just because I know that takes a lot of time out of your day and you don't have to do it.
Varney, Tig, and Brown. Those are the three you
Yes.
didn't say, just so
Okay.
you know.
Yes. Yeah, I love all of you as humans.
Right?
Yes, I don't want them to feel left out. Good call.
I was in a third grade classroom the other day, Myers Elementary, and the kids, as the mayor, and the kids asked the best questions. One of them asked, how much do you get paid? And the teacher said that these are volunteer positions, Do
Yeah.
you know how much a volunteer gets paid? Nothing? Yeah,
They're
nothing.
shocked.
Yeah. It's like,
Kids
wow.
are funny, man.
Why do you think she does this big volunteer job for no money? Why would she
Yeah.
do that? And the students, responded, because she cares.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because she cares about me. Yes, I do. And our future is in your hands.
Yeah. Well, and we all have a responsibility to make sure that, we leave the world a little bit better.
Amen to that,
Right here.
Jesse. Yep.
So back on leaving the world better.
Yeah.
Okay, let's finish the budget conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we got off a little off the rails.
We
there.
did.
But I do want to ask you
Mhm.
about the Kyle Hedquist thing.
Oh, what
But
do you
first,
want?
we got to finish the budget.
Finish the budget.
Okay.
Let me just do the timeline for you, okay?
Okay,
Because
okay.
it's pretty clear. I won't go into a lot of detail.
Yep.
When the tax was imposed, it was a $23 million deficit we were facing in 2026.
Mhm.
That's this year, okay? After the forecast review team had their chance, we were down to 17.7, I think,
Mhm.
million. Then the efficiencies team took over, and with some cost-saving measures and other things, we were suddenly down to $13.8 million.
So we got about $10 million just by being a little bit more responsible.
Yep.
And doing our homework.
And with the direction of a brilliant city manager, frankly.
Yeah.
And striving for better.
Yeah.
We got to that point, to the 13.8, and knew we needed to find some revenue. And everybody came together under great duress with the departure of the city manager, with so many things going on at the
Yeah.
same time, and managed to pass the levy in cooperation and collaboration with the Library Center 50 Plus and Parks. And I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and you did it in a time when none of us wanted another tax.
Well, and
and
I didn't end the math with, now we are in 2026.
Yeah.
And we actually show over $3 million to the positive
Wow.
amount. That's not like cash in the bank.
Yes.
That's not like we can just willy-nilly start spending money.
Yeah.
You got to look at that 5-year forecast. With the 5-year forecast, just a few months ago, we were looking at going into the red in the 5th year. That's amazing, considering we were supposed to be in the red to $23 million in 2026.
Yeah.
Now we're in the green for 5 years. But truth is, budgets are fluid.
Yeah.
Right? They change.
Yeah. I remember on the school board, it changed, I don't know, every year, every single year. And we didn't even know what the budget was until later in the year.
Right.
So,
well, and the truth is, it can change monthly.
Yeah.
The cost of things, everything's weighing into a budget.
Mhm.
Currently, we go into the red in the 3rd year. So we don't want to go farther.
Yeah.
Right? We want to maintain and continue to examine what it is we're doing and how it's going on a monthly basis. And that's going to help to keep us closer on track.
Yeah.
Without a bunch of scary deficit stories and all that. I want us to be fiscally responsible with the money that we do have. These are the taxpayers' dollars that keep this city running.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of times when we talk about like taxes, people are like, oh, well, you just don't want to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about, okay, it's hard when we talk about money because it's harder to conceptualize.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking about why do these people not want to pay more taxes, it's not that they're just greedy. A lot of people are struggling just to get by.
Oh, yeah.
It's because they have to feed their families. They got to put clothes on their kids.
Yep.
They got to, they want to let their kids play sports,
Right.
or like let them live a childhood and take care of their families, pay their mortgage. So many people are struggling with credit card debt, with student loans.
Yep.
yada, yada. The list goes on. And so like, that's why it's important to be fiscally responsible. So it's not about the money itself. It's about what that money
is doing.
How families use that money for their livelihood.
Yep.
And so that's why I just, want to say, of course, thank you to you and to our whole city council and of course to our city manager. Huge thanks to her because
and leadership staff.
Yeah, and our leadership staff. Yeah.
She's got a heck of a team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
And like literally every single person who went in day to day to put us back into our surplus, like that did a huge service to our city. So every single city employee who helped with that, did a great job.
Yeah. Good news.
So now on a more spicy conversation.
Ooh. Oh.
Okay, so we talked about it just briefly. So I was talking about the end result, which was very good, right? But then kind of leading up to that, how did we get to a point where, I'll just start with a metaphor, right? I was on the school board for Salem Kaiser, right? If there was someone who abused kids, we wouldn't let them on a school board. Like eventually, like if they prove themselves, serve their time, and then, like we'd let them back into society, of course, live your life, do your thing, right? Like, because we should believe in forgiveness to a degree, right? But then you just don't get to be on a school board if you've, abused kids in your past. It's just one of those things. If like you're an arsonist or you were lighting buildings on fire and then now you've reformed 20 years later, you should be able to serve on boards. Yeah. You probably shouldn't be on like a fire board, Right. Like it's just one of those things. Right. And so why did we have a guy, which to be fair, like I would like to say this to Kyle Hedquist, right? I really hope that you have changed. And like, I don't know, because I don't know him, but also like, I, believe in forgiveness. He should be able to live his life. And if he wants to give back to the community, I'm a firm believer of people can change. It's not that often sometimes, but a lot of times it is possible. And if he has, then that's great. And I want nothing but the best for him. But if you murdered someone in cold blood and shot them in the back of the head and threw their body in a ditch, no matter what age, it's just, you just don't get to be on a police review board.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But why did we get to a point where that he was put on the review board? I don't understand how that happened.
Well, I think, Jesse, you would have to go back a little bit farther to the moment that he was released and his sentence was commuted by the governor.
Yeah. Well, I wrote an article and we in there, we included the letter from the Douglas County District Attorney where I made a video about it. And we listed out exactly like step by step what was in the letter.
Yeah.
And he sent that to Kate Brown, who was our governor at the time when she released him.
And it made no difference.
Yeah. That's wild.
I think that was truly a political move on her part, and I do not claim to know all the reasons why people play games.
Yeah.
But it's when he was released, he had been doing a good job, from what I understand, of growing and healing and bringing good things to other inmates and all that. I think that's great.
And honestly, props to him for that. I mean, I think that's great.
That is great. Yeah. When he came out of prison, and I wasn't in the room, but he went to work as a lobbyist, basically, for working at the Capitol. And I don't know, to me, that just feels like, what the heck? Nikki Thrasher's family was not consulted before his release, as I understand it.
Like at all?
No.
Dang.
And he went to prison for life for murdering her.
Well, he didn't just murder. That was like premeditated murder. That's very different than just drunk driving and hitting someone with your car.
No,
or
absolutely.
even let's just say a crime of passion, right?
Yep.
Or let's just say it was the same scenario. He was robbing his aunt's house, and then he just had a gun with him. Someone walked in the door and he shot him, right? Even that would be bad. But this was like, you thought it out, you planned it.
And it wasn't certain that she knew he had done anything bad.
Which is even crazier. And no, It wasn't even that she did anything bad. He didn't know, well, at least according to the letter from the district attorney in Douglas County. He said that, like in the letter, it says that he didn't know if she even knew about it at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And yet taking it upon himself to think ahead enough to go into the hill or
Yeah.
whatever and shoot her in the back of the head. To not speak, for him to go to prison for life for that horrific crime, and for the governor to release him without speaking to her family, I just think it's wrong. And when he was sentenced, he didn't get the death penalty. He got life in prison. And from where I stand, he should have finished that sentence. That's what her family got in consolation for her death, was that he would serve life in prison. And it didn't happen. And I do believe in rehabilitation. I do believe that he was likely on the inside doing great things for the community in there. And I think it would have been great to have him stay there and continue that good work and finish his sentence. But
well, we can't do anything.
We can't do anything about that.
But back to my original question of, okay, so because before you guys voted on this,
how did he get there?
It was in the paper,
right?
It was in the Statesman Journal. In fact, I didn't even write about it because I was like, oh, they already did.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't even going to write about it until I realized that nobody really told the depth of the actual story.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, I feel like I have to, because they were like, people were kind of being soft on it, you know, on what actually happened.
Right.
And when I saw, it was kind of wild to me when in the Statesman Journal, it laid out the story. It didn't lay out the story, but it said, he's a convicted murderer, right? It didn't give too many details.
Mm-hmm.
But after a 5-minute Google search, you can find all the details.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're voting on something, why wouldn't you spend the extra 5 minutes to find that out? Because everyone who says, well, I didn't know, like, you can just Google it.
He was first considered for that board in 2024. I think it was April. And it was just for the sake of understanding, there's such a thing as the Boards and Commissions Committee. It's made up of 4 members.
Mm-hmm.
At the time that he was voted into that seat on the Community Police Review Board, it was the former mayor, Chris Hoy, Virginia Stapleton, Vanessa Nordyke, and Linda Nishioka serving on that committee.
Mm-hmm.
The committee brings forth basically a packet full of recommendations to boards and commissions.
Mm-hmm. There's
no digging in to those individual persons.
Well, so on the school board, right, we would get consent calendars.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just, like, to be fair, there were times when there's big issues going on and you're given recommendations by people who are professionals, who are your colleagues, and then you vote yes or no on it.
Right.
And so is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
They put together a recommendation because these
are the people we appointed.
Okay.
And we're trusting that they've done the job of vetting the people on these boards and commissions. And so when it came to council, it passed unanimously to move those appointments forward. Mm-hmm. He was part of that package. Kyle Hedquist was part of that package.
Yeah.
So I actually voted yes on that without knowing who he was, where he had been, or what he had done.
Well, and I did hear during the same city council meeting, there were several city councilors, I believe, including yourself. There were several people who did say, we did do this, but also, like, we'll do our research next time and do better.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I say that, I don't do that to, like, give anyone an out or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I say that is because what I appreciated about that was, and even of the people who said, I didn't know, and I'm going to do more research next time,
mm-hmm.
right? And I do remember Nordyke did say that when she was talking as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to give her credit on that too, because people trying to, like, do better,
mm-hmm.
that's what I care about. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think there's a pretty big difference, I think, between, while I do agree all of you should have done your homework on that, even though the committee gave it to you. And I think everyone's like, well, we'll do better now. After the Statesman Journal article came out that mm-hmm. this man was a convicted murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys had, this was in November. And then in December, on December 8th, so they had at least a week, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
to
Our committee had met
yeah.
and decided to vacate and voted to vacate his seat,
Mhm.
okay, by a vote of 3-1, with Councillor Nordyke wanting to uphold his seat. So that package then comes to council in the council meeting on December 8th,
Mhm.
where Councillor Vang, I believe, pulled that item for discussion and wanted to overturn the committee's decision to vacate his seat.
Okay, so the committee was already going to vacate his seat.
Absolutely. By a
And
vote
then
of 3-1.
that vote on December 8th was
Overturned
to keep him.
the committee's decision to keep
Interesting.
him on the Community Police Review Board.
So did you guys all know that he was a murderer already?
There can't be anyone who, nobody didn't know. Obviously, what happened, the
Yeah.
big backlash and the
Well,
national and
to be fair, it
international
was
news.
well-deserved backlash.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, a 5-minute Google search taught you everything you needed to know.
Yeah. And that's when it came back to council to vacate his seat.
I am thankful, is what I will say. Like, I'm thankful that, I also respect Councillor Vang because at least
Holding her ground on her stance.
I don't agree with it at all, but
Mhm.
I do respect the fact that, it was an informed decision,
Mhm.
and so I don't agree with the informed decision just because I don't think a murderer should be on a police review board, just like a child abuser shouldn't be on a school board. But at the same time, she at least knew what was going on. She never
Right.
claimed that she didn't know.
Right.
And same with Dr. Brown as well.
Bottom line is, it's straightened out now, and it's
straightened out now.
and we're better for it. The
I think we
boards
are.
and commissions committees are getting a whole new education on how that all works. All of council is way more aware of the importance of the boards and commissions.
Yes.
I just want to throw out like an advertisement for service on boards and commissions and committees, because we need citizen involvement and we don't get enough of it. So as the chair of that boards and commissions committee, I know
Mhm.
that we have vacancies all the time and not enough people applying.
I could help with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do it.
Why not?
Do
We can
it.
get the word out. That'd be fun. Well, it'd be good because just getting people involved in the community.
Engaged.
Yeah, I loved doing that on the school board, of just going out to communities and talking to people, and because I think people will step up if they know what exactly needs to be done and the importance of it.
Well, and if they know how much it pays.
Yeah, just so much. Yeah, those $0.
$0.
So, Julie,
Yeah.
okay, let's go into, before we get into your mayor race, which I would like to talk about. I did want to address another thing on here. Is this ethics stuff.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. What's the deal here? Because I have seen, from my understanding, right, there was a couple ethics things. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with this ethics stuff, Julie.
Well, since I came onto council and stood up against a payroll tax and kind of created some animosity, I think there's been a lot of talk about ethics. At every opportunity, folks opposed to me are wanting to tear me down in any way they can. And so there's been a lot of talk about ethics.
Yeah.
And there was the tire incident. Remember that one, where I was wondering why the city would pay more for tires outside of Salem than using a local vendor to purchase tires.
Well, you guys just changed that policy, right?
Yeah, fortunately. Councillor Matthews brought it forward, and it passed, that we were going to review the procurement process, which was
a smart move.
Oh,
I don't
golly.
get why it wasn't already like that.
Well, when I tried to bring it up, it became I wanted to make my friends rich and bring business to my friends.
So with this tire incident, did you know the guy beforehand?
Nope.
You'd never met him? How did
Nope.
How did he contact you?
I was in the church parking lot at Queen of Peace. His daughter goes to school there, and his wife stopped me, I think, and then introduced me to him.
Oh.
And he said, "Hey, I can save the city money. I don't know why they won't answer my calls." So that's where I picked up that ball. And
interesting.
Yep. And then it got met with
And what was the claim there? Were they saying that you were trying to?
They were claiming that I was wanting to give city business to my friends so they can make money. And I didn't know the guy till then. And why wouldn't the city pay less for something if they could and support local business?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Our economy is what we should be after.
Oh, I completely agree.
But the city then was following the state's procurement process. So we're buying like Chevy Suburbans or Silverados or whatever they are from Gresham Ford or Gresham, whatever it is. It just made no sense to me. Why wouldn't we buy those here? And I don't know all about cars. I don't know about, buying power or whatever it is. But anything we can do to support local seems like the best order.
I would agree with that.
Well,
at least it's worth raising the question.
Of course.
At a minimum.
Why wouldn't we save money if we could? And why wouldn't we shop locally, so to speak, if we can? Yeah. Anyway, it felt like a simple question.
As long as it's done fairly. Were you proposing that we use him specifically?
No. Of course I mentioned his name because he told me what he could save per vehicle, So when I presented that information.
They know who you're talking about?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, no, but there was just.
But you're recommending, hey, we hire this guy.
No. Okay. I was just bringing up the information that showed the difference in price. Between tires. That's all.
Fair enough.
There was nothing for me to gain there except a better economy in Salem. God forbid, right?
Fair enough. Well, yeah.
Jeez Louise.
The land use issue.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, land use issues come up in council business. And if you or a family member are going to benefit financially from that decision, you should recuse yourself. I think it was a $200,000 expense for some portion of a sidewalk in a development. And I didn't agree with that sidewalk. It goes to nowhere. Why are we adding $200,000 to this development piece with something like that? That seems unnecessary. So it turned out that development was being handled by someone that I know. The rule is if me or my family are not going to benefit financially from that development, we have the right to vote on that particular agenda item, that land use issue. And I was not going to benefit. And I received a lot of pressure to recuse myself. And through legal counsel, realized I really do not have to do that.
So you went to your legal counsel ahead of time and told them the situation. Did you tell them that you know the guy?
Yeah.
Was he a donor?
Yeah.
Was it Tokarski?
Yeah.
Okay. So you went to legal counsel and you said, hey, this man who's also a donor of mine is, developing this property. We're trying to get them to put a sidewalk that'll cost another $200,000, but the sidewalk doesn't go to anywhere. Am I allowed to vote on this? And what do they say?
Are you going to benefit financially from this transaction or this land use issue? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Nobody's writing me a check because of that development issue. And the bigger news is who actually saved money in all of that is the home buyer. Anytime a project costs more money, the developer's not going to say, oh, darn it, now I don't get that money, or the builder or the whoever.
Well, they don't eat the cost.
No, it's going to land with the home buyer. So that's who I was looking out for in all of this. So there was that.
Yeah.
I take this stuff very seriously, but there has been sort of an ongoing desire to find fault with me and make things look bad.
Well, when you're running against somebody, I found that kind of happens. I mean, I had people who I ran against, who told just straight up lies about me the entire time. And then afterwards, after it's all over, they're like, oh yeah, my bad. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And like, I've forgiven him since. And,
Yeah.
and actually, for example, the first opponent I ever ran against hated me for years.
Mhm.
And I was nothing but nice to the guy. But now, like, I wouldn't like say we're like close friends, but like we get along well. We've served on like, since then we've served together on boards intentionally to serve together. And
Mhm.
I think it's been a really good thing. But in a lot of times I have found that when you're running for office or when you're, doing things like that, then I don't know, some people just do whatever it takes.
They do. And
So-
Jesse, that is, I think, the primary reason why good people don't run,
Yeah,
because it's gross.
it is gross. I have zero desire to ever
Yeah.
run. So I do not envy you or Vanessa. So just to make sure I have the story straight,
Mhm.
you called everybody. You're
Individually.
you're the mayor. Is that common for a mayor to do? I don't know that. I've never been a mayor.
I think it's more common than we know.
Yeah.
And a lot of elected bodies spend a lot of time talking to each other about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And on this topic, that did not happen. I called.
No.
folks-
What I meant is it common for people for like the president of a board or a mayor to call their city councilors and to say, hey, here's the information that you have and here's what we're voting on.
I think it's common. I've never been able to do it because of the ethics issues that came up very quickly after I
Yeah.
was sworn in. So, and the ethics commission kind of went all over the board on like the hammer down on Salem City Council. I mean, at its worst, it was you can't talk to the press, you can't talk to you can't be on social media talking about city business. You can't talk to each other. You shouldn't talk to other people because other people might talk to other people.
That's crazy.
And it gets
That's a crazy standard.
Oh my gosh, it's
how are you
absolutely
supposed to get
ridiculous.
anything done or receive input?
Exactly. So I've tried to be really faithful to not speaking to other counselors, and therefore, and all of us have, I
Yeah.
think, some I think might be talking to others, but we come together in our public meetings, and that's where we discuss city issues.
Yeah.
So it's not particularly comfortable because you don't go in like the wheels are greased and I know how this is going to go kind of thing. You're basically there to talk about what you need to talk about.
Well, that is important.
Yeah.
And it is important for the public to be part of that conversation, I think.
Mhm. I
And
do
so,
too.
Instead of everything being decided ahead of time, you just go in and vote and everyone's like, why'd you do this?
Yeah. All the baked cakes.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember thinking that when I came onto council, actually.
What?
I was like, how long's this bakery been open? I mean, these baked cakes just keep coming down.
Oh, like everything was just rubber stamped?
Yeah.
Gosh, I felt that way when I got on the school board too. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And
interesting. It doesn't feel like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
It's progress.
It's only been a year.
I know.
So that's pretty good progress for a year.
Yep.
Which is a great thing to testify, to the whole team. I mean, it really looks like, from what I can see, every city councilor is really trying.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's all you can ask for people to try.
Yep.
And which that's something, give respect what it's due.
Right.
It appears to me that everyone's trying.
When we're doing city business, we do good work.
Yeah.
When it becomes about those outside national, international, political issues, that's when we go off the rails because that's not where we belong.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we finish talking about the ethics thing.
Okay.
So since then, it seems like everyone has accepted the letter of education.
Mm.
What does that mean to accept the letter of education? Does it mean that like they all said, yeah, we did it? Or I don't understand. Is that what they're saying when they accept the letter?
That's an interesting question. I'm not quite sure. I know this from the hearing on June 10th. We were told the maximum penalty if we were found in violation would be a letter of education. In the same meeting, I heard the president of their board, the ethics board, say that he noted for the record that before a letter of education could be issued, that their board needed further education on public meeting and serial meeting law. So I've been waiting for a letter of education since then. The
Wait, so
full,
they're
the full investigation was launched at that meeting
okay.
because you can't issue a letter of education without a full investigation. So the investigator had already, from February on, gathered our statements and all that kind of stuff.
And what did the investigator find?
At that point, he recommended a full investigation.
No, what has he found since? Like
Since
today?
between June, starting around September, the investigator reached back out to all the players and asked if they remembered anything more or different since February. And I didn't remember anything different because it's the same story.
Mm-hmm.
I did as I was instructed to do. After the hearing in October, the commission found that we were, in fact, in violation. Not all of us. Councillor Matthews and Councillor Brown were not found in violation. And that was that. Then a letter, a stipulation letter came through email that said, sign this and you're done. And I was like, what am I signing? And it talked about the violation, but it also inferred that I lied. And I didn't.
Okay. So
I didn't sign the letter of stipulation.
yeah.
It also said that I'm not going to come back and sue them at any point.
Everybody on the city council, except for Councillor Matthews and Councillor Brown, were in violation of
serial meeting and public meeting law.
Okay. Do you agree with that part?
No, I don't. I don't know because I wasn't in on those conversations. Okay.
Yeah.
The conversation I had with each counselor was individual, and it was simply a heads up that the topic of the city manager's potential departure may be coming for discussion. And it was really important to be aware of the audit that was performed by the consulting firm and make sure that we had information on that. It was my last phone call on a Thursday that I made to Councillor Nishioka, who asked me specifically if I had enough votes to bring about his departure. And I said, I am not counting votes. I can't count votes. I'm simply making you aware that we are going to probably need to discuss this topic and to be ready for it. Make yourself, fill yourself in with the audit, understand the third-party perception of the functionality of the office, and then we'll talk about it. It was after that she let me know she wanted to meet with him privately. And I said, are you sure you don't want me to go with you? And she said, nope, I want to go it alone. They are friends. And I believe she truly wanted to help to protect his any discomfort he might experience from a discussion about the office or the performance.
That is a hard thing to do, right? I mean, even though, it's very clear that our city's much better off by the result of this. I mean, that's just the facts speak for themselves. But we also have to recognize, the humanity, in Keith, our previous city manager, and that, I believe he was probably doing his best, right? And I don't think he meant any harm to the city or anything. And that's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah. Bet.
And so, I don't blame her at all for wanting to talk to him because, especially if you care about someone,
right.
Yeah, I get that.
So she met with him on her own on that Friday. And I heard from the city attorney later that day that he wanted the weekend to think about it. And by Sunday night, his office was empty and he was gone. And we were all surprised. And then it became a bigger issue. And with the newly formed ethics commission, they didn't come about until November of 23, I think. And Salem had the distinction of kind of going first on the topic of public meeting and serial meeting law.
Well, and you guys mentioned this in one of the last city council meetings, which I thought was, you mentioned this in the debate that you had with Vanessa Nordyke, because, we sponsored that debate. And so we were there and we were filming it and stuff. And one of the things that you brought up, which I didn't know, was that you said that commission, the ethics commission, it's only a couple of years old.
Yeah.
We make it seem
November
as if
of 2023.
And this was the first city council to be brought for an issue like
As
that.
far as I know, yes. And we were put through the ringer. And it was only when it got so ridiculous. It was like, you can't talk to each other about city business. Okay. Then it was, you can't talk to the press. You can't go on social media and talk about city business. You shouldn't go to a gathering and speak to a constituent about city business, because that constituent might go to another constituent who talks to another counselor who speaks to another counselor, and next thing you know, you have a quorum, or whatever, on and on. It was just mind-boggling.
That's a crazy thing. Well, especially like also the part of like about not talking to the press, right? Because like we have freedom of the press here. And like you're a public servant.
Well, that's when,
when it's things about like that you're supposed to have, like when I was on the school board, right? There was like, even in our executive meetings where we're talking about like expulsions and like hard conversations that aren't open to the public, the press was still sitting in the room.
Yeah.
Listening to the conversation. So it's weird that they would say that. Yeah, I'd be interested to
it just kind of snowballed, and then it got dialed back. The city attorney got involved communicating with the ethics commission, please. Yeah. And if I live under the guise that there's no one I can talk to about city business, for fear that
how are you supposed
someone's going to file an ethics complaint against me?
Yeah.
It's just not reasonable.
So what'd they end up determining? Like, are you guys able to talk to people now? Should we stop?
Yeah, right? No, it's delicate. I'm very careful, because there are those out in the world who want to find any way to make me look like I'm an unethical person, and it's just not true.
I'm trying to find ways right now.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I'm sorry. Just came in my head, not my mouth.
You're funny.
But no, thank you for clearing that up. And, it sounds like, you just, from what I'm hearing you say, learned this in therapy. Yeah. What I'm hearing you say is that you are saying in the letter that they asked you to sign would be you saying that you committed an ethics violation in serial meeting. And then also that you lied to Counselor Nishioka.
No, that I told Counselor Nishioka that I had enough votes. That was her lie.
Yeah, and so
they believed.
And the letter saying that you for sure
that I did that. I acted as an intermediary.
But they don't have any receipts to either.
Mm-mm. And nobody
especially
else,
the private conversation that's a one-on-one conversation. The serial meeting law, I could maybe understand how they can be like, oh, there's a general idea of that. I could see the logic line, but the he said, she said of what you said on the phone with Counselor Nishioka, is there anything other than her just saying that you said that and you saying that you didn't?
Nope.
And so that you signing that letter would be you saying I did that.
Yeah.
Therefore I lied.
Yeah.
And I could see why you wouldn't want to sign that. So.
No. And why do I have to? I'm waiting for a letter of education.
Yeah.
I need to learn.
Oh, fair. Sounds like they also need to learn. But we all need to learn. Well, I appreciate you talking about that. And I know you probably didn't want to, but it's also like, if you're going to be the mayor of the city, it's important to have those hard conversations. And
it's also, Jesse, I think good to mention that anything that public servant is facing like this, you pay for your own legal counsel out of your own pocket. That's not campaign funds. That hurts your personal budget and your family. And I chose to obtain an attorney, and it's not cheap.
Yeah. And
you get advice, right? And sometimes the advice is to just not say anything and be quiet.
Okay.
And let it run its course. And I've been really good about that, because I should have been. Opinion doesn't matter. I know this. I know that we have come a long way in the last 12 months. And I believe we have the right leadership in our city manager and our leadership staff. And we are making fast progress. It's good.
Well, now let's get into, before we go, I do want to touch on the actual campaign itself, right? So, I sat in on a debate with you and Councilor Nordyke, and hosted by the Salem Chamber of Commerce. They did a wonderful job, I thought. And what I would like to know from you is, what is the biggest difference between you and your opponent? What would you say as a citizen of Salem that I should keep in mind?
The biggest difference,
or differences, like what are some key differences between you and Councilor Nordyke, as far as that people should keep in mind when they're voting? So, like, if I'm picking between the two,
I never thought I would be mayor of anywhere. And my opponent let me know she's wanted to be mayor her whole life. So that's a difference. I am a business owner, and I'm a mom and a grandma. And those little people mean so much to me that I am willing to sacrifice time and energy out of my life and my time with them to take on this responsibility. And I don't do it because I'm all that in a bag of chips. I do it because I believe that I've been called to this work. God loves me. He made me. He needs me to do this right now. And so I'm doing it. There's no other explanation to me for why I find myself in this role. And I believe that strongly.
Well, that's fair. I like that. I think that's I think that's an admirable way to approach public service. But outside of just the personal public service, when I'm going to the ballot box and casting my vote, what am I voting for you that I'm not going to get?
What are you going to get from me? Continued effort toward fiscally responsible actions in a city for the voters to get the most out of their tax dollars. For the people to get the most out of their tax dollars, for us to prove the ROI on the great number of investment that's being made here by the citizens of Salem. And being fiscally responsible and not, running down special projects every time we turn around, which drives us only into debt. We can't do that. We can't afford that.
Do you remember, this is side quest.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I think this was 2018 or 2019. I could be wrong on the year. When the city of Salem they blocked off parking spots downtown in the green initiative. Do you remember this? It was our Green New Deal initiative or whatever it was for the environment, which I love the environment. And I also care a lot about the earth. But at the same time, there's caring about something and doing it, and then there's pandering. So what the city of Salem did was they blocked up a bunch of parking spots, threw a bunch of bark dust in there, and then planted like trees, like real trees. What do these trees do when their roots start growing and it hits the asphalt? Like, where are those roots going to go? Like, I just felt it was so clearly not thought through.
Yeah.
And
Did they just die?
Well, they took the trees out because everyone's like, this is stupid. but it was really interesting because it was very clearly not thought through, because when those trees get bigger, if they were going to stay there, then they wouldn't have anywhere for the roots to go other than sideways, and those roots don't go sideways. So anyways, I thought that was really interesting. So I have really appreciated in this last year the city's responsibility with money. And I really appreciated because it makes me be able to trust the city more. A little bit more. I don't trust the city much at all, but I do trust the city a little bit more, knowing that, seeing the difference in the budget from what it was to where it is now.
Well, and we've been through a lot, and some would say that has something to do with my leadership, right? In the middle of everything, June 1st, I think it was, everyone had to move out of the Civic Center and into 4 or 5 different locations. in spite of that disruption, we still managed to maintain and continue the road to progress, right? I'm stuck on what separates me. You know, Counselor Nordyke and I agree on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have appreciated her viewpoint more than one time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And where we differ, I think, is I don't know. I think about the $400,000 in the social service fund idea. You know, she wants to bring that back. And
What was that?
she brought it up at the last meeting, and I get it. We used to have a social service fund, but social services are not city business.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not. And we are climbing out of a horrible deficit picture into a better way. And we need to stay focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to stay focused on that. I am going to stay focused on public safety in a clean, safe, and healthy Salem. And I'm doing that through supporting our law enforcement and fire department by engaging in a spirit of collaboration with Marion County, because we can't do the behavioral health piece without them.
Yep.
We need those addiction services and mental health services. And I'm just absolutely focused, Jesse. And I want Salem to continue on a great path. I mean, imagine what we could do if we were fiscally stable.
For more than 1 year.
Yes.
that would be nice.
Right? I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
I don't want the city or the people in it to go backwards. I want the progress to continue that brings us to a better place, holistically, a healthy place to be. And yeah, we're on that path. I think it would have been better for Salem, for my opponent, to lean in to the good work that's being done rather than cause this division. So in spite of that, I'm moving forward, hopeful that I will get reelected in May, and we'll have 3 more years to do this job.
And if you do get reelected in May, how will you repair that relationship? Because obviously when you're going campaigning against each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can say that there's no hard feelings, but there is a little bit. What are you going to do to, like, let's just say you win, or if you don't win, what are you going to do to help repair that?
I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, but
Yeah.
you're right. It's necessary. We will have to work together. We do work together. As I said, these positions are nonpartisan. None of the work that we do is supposed to be about politics. And we shouldn't be in it for the advancement of our own goals, right? It should be about the people.
Yeah.
When nonpartisan positions shouldn't be about politics, should be all about governance, and coming to that place after May, what is it, the 19th, I think the election day is, maybe the 20th. We'll just have to figure it out. But I think it'll be fine, because once the competition is over, then you settle in and you do your work, right? So I think we'll get there, no matter what.
Well, good. Well, because also, like, you guys are both people, and you're both good people. I've known Vanessa a long time. You know, haven't known you as long, but I also know that you're a good human, and I think that it's just really important, you know, because I care about you both as humans, and it's like, the last thing we need is more division, you know,
right?
Because the world can be crazy, the country can be crazy. We can't control that.
No,
but we can't control our little town.
I was going to add that, actually, Jesse, because when I first felt led to run for city council, I remember arguing with my maker and saying, come on, really? You want me to run for city council? You want me to run for mayor? I can't do anything about the big picture, was my plea. And the response that I felt was, I'm not asking you to handle the big picture. I'm asking you to work on the small one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Salem.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing right here. And wouldn't it be something, Jesse, if out of the 241 cities that there are in Oregon, that Salem became one that turned things around and became fiscally sound and managed to support itself and the members of the community in a healthy way?
That'd be good.
Tell you what, I'm determined.
Well, good.
Clean, safe, and healthy Salem.
Well, I'm excited for that. Have you seen any of this? Have you seen any of the stuff that I've been putting out about turning Salem into the city of music and murals?
I have seen a little bit, not enough.
Okay, well,
when do we go?
Okay, well, let me give you the brief pitch, and I would like to hear your feedback, and I would like to know if you support it, and if you'll do your best to support it in office or out. But here's kind of the thought behind it. So I'm not inventing anything new. If you go look at some of the comments, people are like, oh, the city's already done it. This city's already done it. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And it's worked for them. So we should do it. And there's two aspects to this, right? First is the overall arching idea that our city, I love our city to death and I love our community, but we don't have much of an identity, right? One of the big pitches of Salem is that we're an hour away from everything, right? We're an hour away from the beach, an hour away from the mountains, an hour away from Eugene, and an hour away from Portland, which means that kind of like everyone wants to be somewhere else. That's kind of what it implies.
That's funny.
And my goal is to make, if we make Salem really cool, and like you said, we become fiscally responsible, we make it healthy, we make it safe, and we make it fun, then this becomes the destination. Mm-hmm. And all those things are still going to be an hour away, and we just so happen to be right on the crosshairs of I-5. Mm-hmm. And Highway 22, two of the most trafficked highways in the state. Mm-hmm. And in fact, in order to go to the beach, you have to drive through Salem. You don't have a choice. And so we have all these people already driving through here. So here's my thought. Mm-hmm. So have you ever been to Boise?
Yeah.
Have you been to Freak Alley?
No.
So they have this alleyway that has murals all up and down it. Mm-hmm. And they're beautiful. And they change like every quarter, every 6 months. And I'm not saying we do that right away, right? I'm just saying we do it once, see how it goes. And then I think people will like it. So my pitch is, that we paint some of the alleyway, not the whole thing, because I know there are some buildings that are historic and people won't want to do that. But there's a lot of them that could be. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of buildings downtown, like that really big, tall one of condos, right as you're driving past the carousel, that's a big blank wall. It's a big blank canvas. Mm-hmm. There's the one that already has a canvas that could get touched up and expanded. Mm-hmm. And all these different things that people have to drive by, that it's essentially a billboard for our city. Mm-hmm. So everyone who drives through, right, would want to come take selfies at it. And that's what they do in Freak Alley. Mm-hmm. So Freak Alley went from this old desolated alleyway to become the second most Freak Alley went from a desolated alleyway into the second most visited destination in the state.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just a gross alleyway.
Wow.
Yeah. And we could do the same thing here. We have an alleyway that people already walk up and down. It's just a little bit feels unsafe sometimes. And it would be a lot more safe if there was more people walking up and down it. And it was painted and cleaned up and freshened. And, I think it would be a beautiful thing if we had murals painted downtown. And the city already has an art fund of some sort that it spent on, painting the trash cans or painting the garage. Mm-hmm. So there is some funding available and there are grants available. Not once we think in our heads, oh, here's the direction we're going, then we'll start seeing the grants. It's like once you have a red car, you start seeing other red cars, Yeah. And so that's pitch number one, right? That'll bring people in. It'll bring in people to come take selfies and see the murals and see the art. Mm-hmm. It'll bring people from around the outskirts of the city to the downtown area to check it out. And then the second part is music. This one I get a little bit jazzed up about because I love music.
Jazzed up.
Yes, yeah. But take that out. I'm just joking. So with the music part, it's essentially this. So when you look at Nashville, they pay their artists about $200 per set. I know this because I have some friends who have gone over there and played, and a lot of them complain about it. So Portland used to be a very good destination for music. It's still, people will get mad at this video and say, oh, it still is. It used to be so much better before they ran the city into the ground. Yeah. But right now, there's not really a good spot. Like if I'm taking a girl out on a date to a concert or going out with friends to a concert, it's not usually in Salem. It's somewhere else. And how cool would it be if we had stuff in Salem?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thought. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, we have 3 live concerts each night. I heard downtown has a noise thing at 10. So we do from 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 3 concerts, 3 different locations. It could be bars, restaurants, coffee shops, whoever has the facilities to have it done. 3 different locations, 3 different genres of music, which incentivizes us to use different artists and to experience different things. And then because they're all sectioned out, like they're all one after another, you could go from one concert to another. You can go to all 3 if you want to. Anybody in the community can. So we have 3 concerts, 3 nights a week, every week of the year. And then we pay the artists, whether it's a band or a person, I don't care which, right? We pay them $400 for each set. Half of that gets paid by the bar. I've already talked to a lot of the bars and some of the local restaurants. Yeah, they're super into it. Right. And that's their skin in the game. If they're going to have it at their venue, they pay the $200. The other $200 could be paid for. And I don't know how we would do this part, but by the community, whether it's, we increase beat parking for a couple hours during that time period to help pay for it. I don't know if that would work out, or raising it privately. I'm not sure. Or if there's some other funding source that we could use to pay for it. Essentially, here's the total cost of this, Julie. It is $1,800 a week to be the coolest city in the state. And then we'd be attracting artists from Eugene, from Portland. Other artists would want to come here. So we might not be the place where Morgan Wallen comes in place, right? But we can be the place where smaller artists make a name for themselves.
Wow.
What do you think?
I think it sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
I can't speak for council, right? That's 9 people.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't speak on behalf of council. As me, Julie Hoy, I think that sounds like a lovely idea.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, here's the bigger, broader reason why is when you look at times in our past when our country has been united. It's after war, after disaster, after scientific innovation, like going to the moon or AI or automobiles when they were first blown up, or it's like public works, such as like the national parks or the highway system or the railroad. It's after those are the 4 times when our country is united together. But I just strongly believe that we don't have to wait for a disaster or a war to unite. We as a community could just decide, hey, let's go this direction, and then just go, and no one can stop us because we're adults. And and Republicans and Democrats both like music.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So, anywho, that's one thing that I'm going to be,
I'm glad you're driving for that.
Doors for.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, I'm not out here making sure the budgets are good and the police are, the city is safe. That's you. That's you guys.
Well, I feel, Jesse, like I've probably left out a lot in this time together. You know, I mean, public safety is still my thing, and that's a broad topic. That's everything from sanitation to drug enforcement and all points in between. And that's what I'm after. And supporting our police and fire to be able to do the job that they need to do to help our community to feel safe. Continuing to look for ways to reduce violence in our community is super important. Economic development, making sure that we're making decisions in terms of land use and urban development, that we have room for businesses to come.
What about the homelessness?
Yeah, homelessness.
So, I mean, that's a kind of a hot topic right now. We have like the unincorporated city of Wallace Marine Park.
We do.
Across the river.
Absolutely.
And just, like I used to be homeless. So this is an issue that I care very deeply about. And I've served many years in boards and stuff to help with the cause. It's a real problem.
It is a real problem. And unfortunately, I believe it's not been made better by money.
Yeah.
I don't know how many dollars, I'd guess up in the billion, poured over a problem without accountability or requirement for return on investment. And we can't afford that. There's no amount of money that can solve the problem. It's getting to know the people and being able to reach them where they're at and get them to the resources they need for well-being. That's what's not happening enough, and we need to get to a much better place with that. I think that, there's some positive things happening. The increase of the HST team to cover 7 days a week has been really big. Sanitation
Well, that was something that
efforts.
the city did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was that just this year?
Yeah, it's a pilot program right now. The business owners in the area donated $180,000 to provide those 2 HST officers and then the sanitation team being able to go to 7 days a week.
Did you vote yes on that?
Mm-hmm. You bet I did. You bet I did.
I'm going to file a complaint.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. So
Right?
That was a bad joke.
Bad joke.
Well, and I think that's a really cool thing. And I think it also shows, especially like in this last year, we've seen the business community also, rally behind the city and wanting to change things. And I think that's been really cool to see as well.
And still, businesses are suffering. Property owners downtown are suffering. We still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. What are we going to do about the beep beep parking?
Ugh.
So is that tax done?
Yeah, the taxes will be done. Again, don't want to go ahead of council.
Yeah.
But Monday night's meeting, the 26th, we're going to discuss that and getting a refund to the businesses for the tax that they have paid while we've had paid parking at the same time.
You're going to give them their money back.
It's got to go to council.
The government's going to give them money back.
Council's got to vote on it. I can't say.
That's a crazy thing.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen government do that.
I know. That's certainly my hope. We're making some progress, and we need more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited by the work and I love a good puzzle.
Yeah.
And I don't give up easily on hard problems.
Yeah.
We need to dig in and do the work and collaborate.
For sure.
Yep. 100%.
I agree. Well, what would be, one of the questions that I think often comes into politics, right? When people are campaigning, is there's the question of, am I better off today than I was a year ago? Do you think Salem is better off? Or do you think the people like me, just a regular old guy in Salem, do you think that people can ask themselves, am I better off today than I was a year ago? What do you think?
I think the answer would be yes. It would be for me. I know we are better off. Just looking at the budget, I know we're better off. Looking at the increase in public safety, we're better off. The fact that, we learn from everything we do, good or bad, right? And this city, according to the new city manager, has moved to make change at a faster pace than she has ever seen in a municipality. That's big. We're doing it. We're doing it because the right people are in the right places. And I want that to continue.
Fair enough. Said it best. We're too bad Griff's not here to end
I
it with us.
know. I got his hair all over my pants, though.
But luckily, because he's not here, the unicorn
Is whole.
The unicorn survived. So that's good. He really wanted this thing.
Yeah, he did.
It is cute.
Jesse, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, Julie, thank you. Sorry, Mayor Hoy. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And, of course, hopefully, I also, invited, City Councilor Vanessa Nordike. And, and hopefully I get the opportunity to have you both on again later on during the campaign trail. Because we're going to learn more and more stuff's going to happen.
Sure.
And, my job is to keep people informed.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Well, Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you so much to Hotel Salem and Compass Visuals for sponsoring the podcast. Appreciate you guys. And have a good night.